Today on Monkey Life, it's medical day for two of the park's primates, and for one, it's a rather delicate problem.
That's a fairly gnarly looking testicle.
Female chimp Sasha and alpha male Bart meet in the outdoor enclosure in the hope they can overcome their differences.
Always a scary point, this, when you move it outside. So yeah, it's a big leap, this one, but it definitely needs to happen.
And Saki monkey Desmond gets to grips with his potential new partner, Neevah. Monkey World in Dorset, very deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
The owners are going to be upset to say goodbye, but they're doing the right thing.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 24 different species. The park's vet team are in for a busy day. They've two primates on their list with very different issues, and both could take some time. Elderly Patus monkey Penelope has suffered serious dental problems for a while. Because of her age and previous complicated dental surgery 2 years ago, the team have been reluctant to give her anaesthetic unless absolutely necessary. But now the time has come. However, first up today for vet David Holler is Capuchin Shawn, who's suffering a rather large and intimate problem.
He's been noticed over the last couple of weeks that his one testicle enlarges and then reduces. So David's come in today just to check it, make sure we're okay. If he's happy, we'll put an implant, which will hopefully then reduce that even more. If David's concerned, then he'd get brought to hospital, X-ray, and then a possible procedure of surgery to remove the testicle if it's needed.
David's keen to take a look at Shawn.
Is that the pre-med for Shawn?
Pre-med for Shawn.
Because he's unsure if Shawn will need surgery, David wants to perform an initial examination in the bedrooms at the Capuchin Lodge.
I will go down, I will call you as soon as he's had it.
Once David's had a good look at Shawn's problem, he'll decide if he's to go under the knife. Primate care staff member Donna is going to give Shawn an oral pre-med. The Capuchins have all been trained for just this scenario, so she's able to give him the medication designed to make him drowsy. When everything's ready, David heads down to the lodge where the team are waiting. He explains the options.
There are really sort of two main routes that we're going to go down. One is if it feels not definitely like a tumour, is implant him and just see if it shrinks everything away and everything goes down.
Okay.
The other is if it is still very enlarged and feels knobbly, and particularly if the other one is conversely softened, is taking him up to the hospital and just taking that enlarged one away.
With the pre-med topped up with anaesthetic and Shawn out for the count, David can now examine him in one of the bedrooms.
That is huge, isn't it? Mm.
It doesn't take him long to make a decision.
So I would say that we're better off taking him up and taking that testicle off.
Okay.
The enlarged testicle needs to be removed, and that requires surgery. The team place Shawn in a travel crate and whisk him straight across to the park's hospital, where he's intubated.
Everything's set up just to get a quick X-ray of him.
It's ready to go.
Yeah.
David starts by taking a couple of X-rays to check there's nothing else untoward, and also for Shawn's records in case he needs to be seen again in the future.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's good for surgery.
With no other obvious problems revealed, David can get to work removing Shawn's enlarged testicle. It's a straightforward operation, requiring a small incision to pop the testicle out.
That's a fairly gnarly looking testicle.
A quick snip and the job's done, followed by a few stitches to sew up the wound. The testicle will be sent to a laboratory for analysis. Shawn is then returned to the crate to recover.
We're going to send off the lab, find out exactly what's going on in there. In the meantime, put an implant in to suppress testosterone, which means that hopefully, the other testicle isn't going to kick straight into the same process. Plus, it may just help within the group because he's the second in command of the group, and so keeping his testosterone levels down and stopping him challenging for supremacy could be an advantage.
The primate care staff take Shawn back to the lodge, where he'll be closely monitored. 1 down, 1 to go. David's next patient will be along soon.
Thank you, David.
Patus monkey Penelope. Saki monkey Neevah has just woken up in her new home. Alongside, in an adjacent bedroom, is her potential new mate, Desmond. Neevah has moved to the park from a wildlife centre in Devon in the hope the two Sakis will pair up, following the loss of Chloe, Desmond's previous partner.
We're gearing up for her to meet Desmond. I think it's time now. They've kind of both they've spent the night with mesh contact, and I think she needs contact with another monkey now.
So far, Desmond has been the perfect gentleman. He's put on a decent show without being intimidating.
He's been keen. I think he's kind of made the moves. He's puffed up. He's flexed his muscles. He's shown that he's a worthwhile companion, and she did seem quite impressed with that yesterday. So I think now we'll just see what happens. It's all gauges on when you open those slides, but he's a gentleman, and she seems like quite a sweet girl. So yeah, I'm sure they'll get along. There we go.
Sharon opens up the slide connecting the two bedrooms, and Desmond cautiously makes his way in. A little unsure, Neevah tucks herself up in a corner, curious but wary. The primate care staff have put out breakfast to keep the pair occupied. And at first, Desmond's appetite takes priority over his love life.
What do you think, Des?
But after a quick snack, he makes his move, cautiously leaning across to greet Neevah. It's looking positive.
He's trying, and she's tongue flicking him as well.
Saki monkeys are generally gentle animals, and Desmond's calm approach seems to appeal to Neevah. They start flirting using their tongues.
I mean, tongue flicking, yeah, is basically a flirtatious behaviour. She's inviting him to come and mate her. They seem to be quite instinctive, and we saw this yesterday with them as well. They were both sort of tongue flicking through the mesh at each other. So yeah, that's her just welcoming him towards her.
With things going well, Desmond decides it's time to take things to the next level.
Desmond is an experienced male. He has had offspring before in the past, so he should, in theory, know what he's doing. He is vasectomised, so we won't be having any babies here at the park. We've done that because all of the offspring that Desmond has fathered have had some health issues, so we want to make sure that he doesn't have any more offspring that have any health conditions. So we won't be having any babies, but obviously they'll still go through the courtship, the mating behaviours. At the minute, we think Desmond's kind of forgotten how to do all those things because he seems to be doing a little bit wrong. But again, they're just getting used to each other, doing some practicing, and hopefully they'll be very happy together.
This is all new to Neevah, who's spent her entire life living with her parents and siblings. But if Desmond can get his act together, these two Sakis could be a perfect match. It's been nearly a year since Argentine chimp Sasha and her son Kangu arrived from Buenos Aires Zoo. 16-year-old Kangu has fully integrated into Brian's group and getting on well with his new family. But next door in Bart's troop, for his mum Sasha, it's still a work in progress. She's made friends with some of the lower-ranking individuals, but with leader Bart, it's a case of 1 step forward, 2 steps back. As a result, the group has been split for some time, frustrating alpha male Bart. In an attempt to move the situation on, the primate care staff have decided to try something different today. But it's not without risk.
We're letting them outside together with a small subgroup of people who are pretty solid with both of them. That can be a source of comfort for both Bart and Sasha. And yeah, hopefully all goes well, because it's always a scary point this when you move it outside. When we do introductions inside the house, we have a lot more control of the situation, but outside in the enclosure, you're very limited. If it starts going wrong, you've kind of got to hope that they run back towards the house so that you can put a slide in between them. So yeah, it's a big leap, this one, but it definitely needs to happen.
Sasha and Bart are let outside with a carefully selected group of friends, including Cindy, Beth, and Buster, along with Bart's older sister Eddie, who also gets on well with Sasha. The team hope the elder sibling can play the role of go-between and help the fractious pair get along. The final two chimps making up the numbers today are Lola, currently Sasha's best friend, and low-ranking Pepper, who's fairly easygoing and capable of sticking up for the newcomer if she feels inclined. With a scatter feed capturing everyone's attention, they're all calm, including Bart.
He's not massively keen on letting her interact with him, so she keeps approaching him and panting, making all the right gestures, and I think she would like some more positive interaction, but because he's a giant wimp, he just keeps running away from her. But then when she walks away from him, he follows her everywhere. So the interest is there, he's just too much of a wimp to actually take that plunge. But hopefully the more he's exposed to her like this outside where he's nice and relaxed, it'll just happen over time.
A recent house swap means Sasha hasn't spent much time in this outside space, and she didn't have a large outdoor enclosure at her home in Argentina, so she's adapted remarkably well. She's now confident on the large structures and hosing, which the chimps use to move around. Her problem is the social side of life and how to act in chimp society. In Argentina, she did spend some time living with other chimps, but only in very small numbers. For the last few years, she's only had Kangoo for company.
She's not lived in a huge group with a massive social dynamic. It's been a slow learning curve that she can't just do whatever she wants, and she has to behave more appropriately around them. Although Lola, being a little low-ranking female, was just quite keen to have a friend herself, I think. And I think Lola's been a bit more permissive of Sasha's eccentricities, shall we say. And that's why I think they've ended up forming quite a strong bond, because they're both just very tolerant to one another.
Bart, on the other hand, was born at the park 16 years ago and has never known anything other than life with the group.
Part of the reason why Bart is such a baby is because they all treat him like a baby still, basically. They've all kind of been there and looked after him even after he's lost both of his parents, and yeah, he kind of gets comfort from pretty much the whole group. He's part of the reason why he just hasn't built up that resilience, because everyone's took care of everything for him his entire life.
It may be just a small step towards Bart accepting Sasha, but so far today, things are looking more positive. The team will persevere in the coming days, adding in more chimps with the aim of getting all the troop back together, with Sasha a fully integrated member. While Capuchin Shawn recovers in one of the bedrooms at the lodge following surgery to remove an enlarged testicle,
thank you.
primate care staff member Steph is already preparing for the next patient, elderly patus monkey Penelope.
We're aware she's got some health issues. She's had bad teeth before. She's pretty much fully blind in one eye from cataracts. And she also gets the shakes down one side of her body. So she's just an old wobbly girl, which makes her a bit more of a risk for a vet day and to undergo an anaesthetic. So we're just keeping everything crossed that this goes smoothly.
A few years back, Penelope underwent an in-depth medical investigation involving an endoscopy. She also had quite a few of her teeth removed. Wildlife vet Nick Masters, who performed the procedures, was concerned about a number of other teeth, but felt the elderly patus had been under anaesthetic long enough. Today, vet David Holler is taking over where Nick left off.
The incidence of problems under anaesthesia increase massively if you go over an hour of anaesthetic. So it's safer to do 2 shorter procedures than it is to do 1 really long one. So.
The primate care staff have given Penelope a pre-med to make her drowsy, and she's had an anaesthetic to knock her out before being brought to the hospital.
So we've got our hole under the jaw that we were worried about in the first place.
Penelope has had an abscess on a tooth recently, which the team treated with antibiotics. She's also on medication for arthritis. David takes X-rays to assess the condition. The resulting images aren't encouraging.
Yeah, the outline of the heart is very indistinct. We've had some fluid coming back up the ET tube already. Arthritis running through just about everything. So that's in her sternum there.
The X-rays confirm what the team already know. Penelope is very elderly and has serious health issues. David poses the question they really don't want to hear.
It's whether we say quality of life and welfare wise, is this enough? Is this time for her?
Where are you with all this?
I'm sort of at, well, let's carry on with the dental and see where we get to. And if she doesn't make it through the anaesthetic, we've lost nothing by trying.
Everybody happy with that?
Yeah,
If we go
just
to
can you
the-
drop the locals and things just while we're...
The team agree. It's a difficult decision, but they want to give Penelope every chance. Before David begins the dental surgery, he takes an X-ray of her jaw to see just how much work is needed.
So that and that need to come out, as does that one, and that one. And that one.
Ouch.
And that one and that one. Apart from that, we're perfect.
Most, if not all, of her teeth need to come out. It sounds drastic, but David is confident if Penelope comes through, her gums will harden and she'll find eating a lot easier. Plus, she'll be pain-free.
You see this is moving already?
The teeth come out, one by one, with very little effort.
So that tooth is loose and wobbling.
All in all, David extracts 17 teeth.
That's the rest of that one.
He's confident within a few days she'll be able to eat normal food.
Well, it'll need to be softer for a few days until she gets used to it, but the gums will harden off and she'll be able to cope with surprisingly hard foods once everything's healed up in there. And in fact, you know, once everything's healed up, she'll be happier and more comfortable than she's been in a long time. And she'll be better able to eat a wider range of foods. It sounds like a bit of a paradox. But yeah, if the teeth are bad, she won't be using them. So she can at least use some hard gums instead.
To everyone's relief, Penelope comes through the surgery. She'll now need to recover while the primate care team monitor her closely, administer antibiotics, and feed her appropriate foods. If all goes well, she'll be able to return to life with her partner, Mr. P. At the Capuchin complex, one lucky group are about to be given a tricky but tasty breakfast. The primate care staff have stewed apples and other fruits, along with feed pellets, and pushed the mixture in between the fronds of lots of pine cones.
Putting them out for Winslow's group is a bit of something different. We're going to hang them up all over the enclosure, so hopefully there'll be a little bit of a challenge for them to get hold of.
There are 16 members in the troop, and it's generally the most settled and stable of all the Capuchin groups at the park. Some members are expert climbers, while others stick to ground level. Katie is going to give all of them a chance to purloin a pine cone.
It just makes it a little bit different for them. It makes it a little bit more challenging, and yeah, they haven't had pine cones for quite a while, so it's just a little bit of a different way to present the food to them, and yeah, hopefully we'll get a few other behaviours out, and we'll get to see them high up in the trees, and because they're going to be dangling, hopefully we'll get some tail use in there, but then we're also going to pop some down on the ground because we definitely have some in this group who aren't keen on heights.
The slide is opened up, and the Capuchins head straight out, eager to explore, and to discover what treat Katie and the team have cooked up. Some of the females, including Bubbles and Joanne, go straight to the pine cones closer to the ground, while Onslow heads up a level. He's smart, anchoring himself with his tail, giving him the stability to use both hands to attack the pine cone. Leader Winslow tries a different technique, smashing his pine cone on a tunnel roof to break it apart, showing similar tool use behaviour to wild Capuchins. Apart from Dodger and Babe, all the Capuchins in this group came from a laboratory in Chile, although some of the older individuals, such as Debbie, were wild-caught. She was a dominant female for a long time, until Babe took over when she arrived from Spain in 2009. But now, she's also taken a back seat.
She almost just doesn't seem interested in hierarchy so much anymore. She loves being outside, she loves climbing, she's always busy, always doing something. And whereas I think she used to direct that a little bit more at the hierarchy and what the other monkeys were doing, now she's kind of not as interested and she's off doing her own thing. So yeah, she just seems to have been happily retired a little bit. And Esther's definitely more of a dominant female and more involved in the hierarchy now. But overall, they're actually really stable. The whole group seems to have calmed down a little bit compared to what they used to be like.
Current dominant female Esther has found a sunny spot in a tree where she's well balanced to tackle a pine cone. Dodger, one of the two non-lab monkeys in the group, arrived 3 years ago. He'd been kept as a pet, and after a false start in another group, has finally settled to life in Winslow's troop. He's a bit of a ground monkey, but today he's being more adventurous. With plenty of pine cones to go round, all of the Capuchin group have tackled the tricky feast, and it should keep them both physically and mentally challenged for the rest of the day. Next time on Monkey Life, Alison heads to the Midlands to pick up a marmoset found wandering the streets of Wolverhampton.
It was seen running loose in a back garden and then sprinted inside somebody's house when they were putting their washing out.
And recently arrived Saki monkey Neevah gives new mate Desmond the runaround.